I was put in a cell for the first time in my life. That's a day that causes deep reflection, is it not? How did I get myself here? So I said, okay, God, if you even exist, let me die in my sleep tonight. God didn't answer that prayer. They're passing out free candy bars to anybody who wants to go to chapel service. Now, I'd never been to a chapel service in my life, but I wanted a candy bar. Hey, don't worry about them candy bars, boys. We pass them out at the end. I just got tricked to go to church. So he picks his Bible and reads a story about this woman in the well. The more he's talking, the madder I'm getting. So the service is over, get my Butterfinger, went back down to the range. I was going to find a Bible and try to find this story. And so I started reading straight to the New Testament until I found this story. Started Matthew chapter 1. So finally, by the time I got to John chapter 4, I was crushed. I'd never read the Bible before, but I thought I knew it. I didn't know it. All the stuff that I was really good at was all sin. Meanwhile, my indictment comes down. I am charged with aggravated murder with death specifications. So this guy told me I'm going to hell. The state of Ohio is trying to send me there real fast. God had my attention. So I went back to the church service the next week, but he said, if you're sitting in an orange jumpsuit right now, and you're not getting ready to jump out of an airplane, your life is a mess. And apart from Jesus Christ, you cannot get your life right. And he shared the gospel, and I didn't respond to anything. I couldn't get his words out of my head. And that night, I get down on my knees and I prayed. Come into my heart. I surrender my life to you. Use me as you see fit. Come into my life. And I felt like I had 10,000 pounds lifted off my back. I was given 21 to 50-year sentence. I was 21 years old. 3 years into my bid, I filed for a thing called super shock probation. So I filed this motion. I make a deal with God. I'll be like Billy Graham, gone to jail for you. Which I thought's a pretty good deal for God, right? So we filed the motion. They have the hearing. My release is granted. The day before I'm supposed to go home, August 31st, I got a knock on my cell door. He goes, hey, do you have something pending in court? And I said, yeah, how do you know? He said, I just heard on the radio they denied it. My next chance to get released was 10 more years. I had to call my mom and say, don't come tomorrow. It'll be another decade. My Bible's sitting on my desk, my little daily bread sitting there, and I don't want to pick it up. I'm mad at God. I feel sorry for myself. I'm mad at the system. I can't believe how I feel unfairly I'm being treated. But I pick it up. In the reading today, a little book that I sent you, was James chapter 1, verses 2 through 12. I'm thinking, hey, I don't want patience. I want to go home. I said, hey, you say you trust me, then trust me. If you want to get involved in prison ministry, why not be a prison missionary? You're already on the mission field. I went to the parole board for the first time. Calls me back in and said, we've decided to give you 60 more months. 5 more years. So here's the rest of the story. A year later, my case got overturned by the High Supreme Court. A parole hearing officer shows up at our prison unannounced, and I have a parole hearing. I'm not even on any lists. And he says, Mr. Swiger, we'd like to offer you parole. So I accepted the parole. This is how I got out. Because God had a plan. I was engaged to be married the night I was arrested, and my fiancée waited for me. I got out in March 2006. We got married in July. A year later, my first son was born, and my daughter was born after that. In the year 2000, I wrote a short story. So every month the magazine would come, and I would tear through it. They never published it. So I get out looking for jobs and filing job applications. I go apply for a job in the IT department at the Salvation Army on 22nd Street in Cleveland. I pick up the magazine sitting on the end table next to me. It's the Easter 2006 War Cry magazine. I'm flipping through it. I get to the center story. It's my story. I wrote it 6 years earlier. It was published 6 days before my job interview at that company. So I take the magazine, I put it in my folder, I go to my job interview. And the HR person is grilling me. So every question she asked was, in prison. Do that in prison? Prison? So the last thing on my resume I put down, I was a published author. Do you have any samples of anything you've written? So I picked up the magazine and said, I'm the feature story in your international magazine this month. And I handed it to her. And it gave me the job. Because God has a plan. 3 years ago, almost 4, we launched True Freedom Ministries. And we're talking about doing what you love. I get paid to go to prison, teach the Bible, preach, talk to guys every day. That's my job. I pay them to do that. And if you find out what God's called you to do and you do it, you will have peace and you'll prosper at it.